What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burnout Brighter podcast. Darren, I am joined as always by my lovely co-host Darren. We are on episode 99, mon chéri.
Oh my God, 99. That is one away from 100.
That is one away from 100. So, if you're watching this on the day it comes out, on Wednesday, July 28th, head over to our Twitter, my Twitter, Darren's Twitter, or Destiny's Twitter. I'll have the links below to find out a bunch of information about our 100th episode, including a giveaway, a bunch of special guests. Darren, if you had to just talk about a couple of the games that we're going to be giving away, what are some of these games?
Well, do you actually want me to say?
Yeah, say a couple. At this point, the giveaway link should be live.
Yeah, so we got some crazy stuff happening. A couple standouts for me, games that I actually think are amazing. Toe Jam and Earl, back in the groove. A fantastic reboot of the Toe Jam and Earl series. We got Returnal, a pretty freaking big game to be given away. A game that I've always wanted to play, haven't played. We got Dark Deity. Matt, fill me in. What else we got?
We got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We got some Watch Dogs Legion. We have some Wallace and Gromit Grand Adventures. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And if you want an opportunity to win, you got to go and sign up on the giveaway link, and it'll walk you right through. It's super simple, super easy. All it requires is your left kidney and your right baby toe, and we're good to go. So make sure you guys go check out those links because there is a lot of stuff going on. And it is timed, so make sure you jump on it ASAP.
Yeah, we're not kidding. I mean, we are kidding about the kidney. That's a joke. But what we're not kidding about, not the toe. That's real. But where seriously is the real true. We're giving games away. We're giving away crazy games, guys.
Yep.
Be excited, because I, for once, am genuinely excited about something.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of games. We're going to have a bunch of awesome guests. Next week's episode is going to be huge. New logos, new music, new whole bunch of things. So just get ready. But Darren, if you're new to the podcast, if for whatever reason, this is the podcast that you chose to jump in on with us, welcome. We're a show all about video games, mental health, social justice, and a whole bunch more. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other places. We're going to have a lot of reviews going up over the next couple of weeks at youtube.com/burnoutbrighter. So make sure you get stoked for that. But we are going to start this episode, as we always do, with a round of random questions. Darren, today we are going to have a bit of a question back and forth.
Yeah.
Because there's only you and I. Destiny is dealing with some stuff, so she wasn't able to join us this week, but she'll be back for the 100th episode. So I'll start things off, as is tradition, as I kind of look around my room.
Yeah, to give you some time. Oh, would you actually thought of something that quick?
Yeah, I have something. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So before the show started, Darren was inquiring about this lovely Earth, Wind, and Fire album that I have in the background, and he knows that I'm not one to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, but it was a gift. It was something that was given to me, and it's something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. And he was a little bit being like, "Why do you have that?" And it's because it was a gift. So, Darren, what I want to know is what would be one of the strangest gifts that you ever got, and not because it's like cockroaches in a jar, but if somebody really didn't know you and gave you a gift, what would be one of the weirder ones that you'd be like, thank you, but like, you know, you're going to be kind of like, what's the use I'm ever going to get out of this? So it can't, nothing weird, nothing outlandish, but if somebody doesn't know you and gives you a gift, what would one that would be like, you really don't know me, do you?
Oh, I feel really bad. I had like something immediately came to mind.
And again, this doesn't have to be a gift that you've received. It could just be a theoretical. But
well,
if you
now I have to
give us a gift you've actually received.
Yeah, that's all I could think about is a gift that I've actually received. I hope they don't listen to the podcast, because this was like with the best intentions. And it was a very sweet gift. It was a very sweet gift. It's a gift that I received while I was in Korea. I will not say the name to protect their identity.
That's fine. Yeah, don't say their name. But what was the gift?
but so in Korea, they're very, very, into skincare. Like
Hmm.
they're very, very into skincare. Um, and as you can tell by my complexion and how much I truly care
Flawless.
about, yeah, just flawless complexion and my lobster t-shirt, you can tell how much I care about how I look. I obsess over it daily. Also by my lack
Hmm.
of hair,
Hmm.
I obsess about it daily, So they
Hmm.
gave
Hmm.
me a nice, fun Korean skincare facial wash regiment, and yeah, that was something I was like, oh, that's so sweet. He gave it to me for my birthday. I am never gonna use this ever. Like
Did you bring
I'd
it
probably
back with you from Korea to
I
Canada?
did. I did. It's in my bathroom. I still have it. I didn't get rid of it because I don't like getting rid of gifts. So um
Right. Just
but
instead
like
let them sit there for eternity.
yeah, collecting dust. You'd probably like I'd probably get more use out of someone giving me like nose hair clippers, to be honest.
Right.
But but like skincare, facial wash. Oh, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. Um,
All
I'm
right,
so
I accept.
sorry.
I accept. I was hoping that you were going to give me an actual answer, but I didn't want to paint it as such to put you in a corner. But I'm glad
Yeah,
it went in the direction I was hoping it would anyway. Your turn, Darren. Your turn to ask me a question.
it's it's been a hot minute since I've been on the podcast. I totally forgot that this segment was a thing. And
Welcome to my life every time. Because you know my problem, Darren? Every single time we start this show, it naturally is in my train of thought as I kind of, roll through the rigmarole of the beginning. And again, I run into it every single time, base first, being like, right, this is
yeah,
how we open the show.
yeah, exactly. And I got a question. And
Okay.
it's also influenced by you talking about your Earth, Wind, and Fire album. Um,
Hmm.
and also brought on the fact that I was procrastinating my work today by watching a
Right.
1 hour YouTube video of a girl reacting to her first watch of the MCU.
Okay.
So, out of
Where are
all
you
the
going with this?
main characters in the MCU, so like they have to be like a superhero, not just like the basic characters.
Okay. Right.
Um, which hero do you think would drop the hottest mixtape and why?
Oh, which hero would drop the hottest mixtape and why?
Yes.
I feel like Captain America doesn't have it in him.
No, not at all.
I
Not
feel
in the
like
slightest.
I feel like I feel like Iron Man could have some clever bars. He could have some clever lines, but
Maybe
I feel like it would be over. I feel like it would be overproduced and perhaps too much auto tune.
a little narcissistic.
Um, yeah. Hawkeye doesn't have anything to do, neither does Black Widow in that space. I don't see either one of them being too
No.
rhythmically involved in
Eh,
that way.
And it doesn't have to be a main Avenger. It just has to be one of like something that you'd consider like an MCU superhero.
Vision.
Oh
Vision
my
would like
god.
be able to like use the internet in such a way that he'd be able to craft such an amazing mixtape that is both relevant in that time and would just be awesome. I feel like because of his use of the internet, he'd be able to put something dope together.
That was an answer that was so out of left field. I wasn't expecting it, and I don't know why. I thought you were going to say like Star-Lord or something because of, he's classically associated with physical mixtapes. But your answer's so much better. I can't argue with their logic either, right? Like he's a robot, he's an
He literally
AI.
has all of like yeah, he has all of music theory, lyrical comprehension. He has all of that. He's learning how to be a human, you know?
Well, that was my next
He
question
would have
is
a fire mixtape.
does he have enough humanity to hit those bars?
It depends on when he made it. If he made it when he was on the run with Wanda, yeah, that would be like a very melodramatic, love-soaked mixtape, but it would be
Pr-
dope. I'm telling you.
Prime mixtape environment.
Exactly. Yeah. An artist needs to suffer to create. So like he's pining for her. She's on the run, and he'd be like, you know what? I can mess around with the internet. I'm gonna make a cool mixtape. I'm gonna make her a mixtape. There you go. That
There
would
you
be
go.
why. He'd be
There
like,
you go.
please
The
hold on to
motivation.
this and think of me. There you go.
Yeah. I
And
love it.
that is why Division would make a awesome mixtape.
Great answer. I love it.
Thank you. I was trying to walk myself through that one because I wasn't sure on where I was going to land, but I'm happy with my answer. All right, buddy. So, it's been a little bit since we've done some random questions. We got to shake out the cobwebs. Let's mosey on down to what's new. What's been going on, buddy? What have you been playing? What's going on? Because I have really weird splattering of things that I've been up to. But so you go first. So walk me through what's new in the life of Darren.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out what you've been playing recently. Because I haven't been playing a lot. Actually, I'm gonna just double check my phone because I feel like I've beaten something recently that I didn't talk about. But I did talk about Link's Awakening before, so I'm gonna switch it up.
You talked about playing it. I don't know if you talked about finishing it.
I'll say in 2 seconds, I think it's a fantastic remake. I think it was very padded by extra dungeons that were kind of unnecessary. From a remake perspective, it's the definitive way to play Link's Awakening, in my opinion. Absolutely gorgeous.
Okay.
But whether it's worth a full price up to you. I'd say try and get like a used copy if you could, or wait till it's on sale. What I've been playing recently, actually, is the first Psychonauts. I've been replaying the first Psychonauts in preparation for Psychonauts 2 coming out in August.
How have you been playing it?
I have a PS4 version of the game that came. Yeah, when Rhombus of Ruin, the VR game, came out, if you bought it new, you got a free copy of the first game on PS4. Now, the PS4 version of the game is not an HD remaster. It's actually a PS2 classic version, to the point where when you turn on the game, it shows the PS2 logo, like you're playing the PS2 game.
No way.
It's just an emulated ROM. Yeah. Yeah, it's not an HD remaster. It doesn't call itself an HD remaster. It just says Psychonauts, which is what you're getting. But there were some enhancements. It now has widescreen support. It actually runs at 1080p, I believe. So the resolution has been increased, so you're not playing like a blurry PS2 game. But it runs... It's treated like... It's like if you bought like a PS1 game or a PS2 game off the PSN store on the PS3, because the PS3 had a lot of those kinds of games. So it's like that. Yeah, unfortunately, because it's an emulated version of the PS2 version, the frame rate runs like it's the PS2 version. The graphics, other than the resolution, look like it's the PS2 version. It still has weird lighting errors and glitches that the PS2 version had, which is disappointing. Because there's a PC version of the game that is infinitely superior that they didn't port. Because it's a PS2 classic, they ported the PS2 version. But technical merits aside, I have been pleasantly surprised by how well I think the game holds up. Mechanically, it's a rough around the edges. Like, this is a PS2 era platformer. I was talking to Alistair about this, and I was like, described this era as like the Wild West of platformers and action adventure games, where like anything goes. Like, nowadays, I feel like a lot of these kinds of games have standardized mechanics and standardized like progression and stuff like that to some extent, where this was like frickin' throw darts at the wall and see what sticks. So like control wise, camera wise, pretty not good. But you don't really need any precision platforming to play the game until like the last level, which is a nightmare. But everything leading up to it It's good. It's just such a funny, well-written game, and it's a game that once the second game comes out, I'm going to play it and I'm going to talk about it on this podcast. I might make a video about it even. We'll see. Because it's a game that I think we should talk about, because I forgot how integral mental health was to the experience of this series. Because every level, even in the original, there are some things that I don't think representation-wise aged as well. But I am surprised by how much restraint and empathy the game has. Because not every person, but a lot of the levels are based around people dealing with mental illness. But it doesn't treat them as a joke. It treats them with empathy, and it treats them with understanding. And it's really trying to do its best to show the player, like, help them understand this person. And you're trying to improve the lives of these people.
How long is the game? Do you know?
Well, I'm trying to get 100%. I've been playing for like 10 hours, and I think I've got 3 levels left, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And I've done like 6 I think there's 10 or 12 levels in the game. They're not very long. They're not long levels.
Without trying 100% everything,
you could beat it in under 10
How
hours.
long do you think?
Under 10 hours, I think. If you're just like running.
Okay, you know what, Darren? It's on Game Pass. I'll try it out.
The first one's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess that makes sense because they bought Double Fine. Yeah. I think you should, if it's on Game Pass, you should definitely try it out. And if you want to wait till Psychonauts 2, that's fine too. I've heard it's got a very, very good intro that explains everything that happens, so you didn't have to play the first game. But yeah, by all means, try it out and see what you think. It deals with really important issues. The first couple levels, like the first 3 levels of the game, are basically tutorial, and then the entire focus of the game shifts, and then you're like playing the rest of the game. I'd say play until the Milkman conspiracy level. If you really I'd say the Milkman conspiracy level is the first like true level of the game. It's just very inventive. It's very inventive, very unique. That's why I usually consider it one of my favorite games of all time. But Matt, all right, enough about me and Psychonauts. What have you been up to?
I've been up to a whole smattering of stuff, Darren, especially because last week, because we had so much fun talking with Ian and Rel, we didn't even get to what's new. I've been playing a whole bunch. I restarted Final Fantasy 14, keeping my word that I will get to Endwalker by the time November rolls around. And nice. I would just like to say that on the other podcast that I'm on, the PlayStation Drive, I asked my friend and co-host Ryan, who's also a massive Final Fantasy 14 guy, if it's feasible for me to get to Endwalker. He said, easy, no problem. Which is a stark contrast to the lack of support you've been giving me, throwing shade and criticism as to it's not possible. He told me no problem, so watch it. I'm coming. But yeah, that game is like, it's so nice to be back in that world. Immediately overwhelming. Like, luckily Alistair jumped back on with me and kind of walked me through resetting everything up, because it was my first time playing on PS5. So like my hotbars all went to shit and everything. So I had to relearn everything. And we went to a dungeon, and like, again, like I was like stammering around and being like, where is this and where is that? But like after a couple hours, I'm back in the swing of it and relearning everything nice. Finally leveled up to level 50 so I can continue on with the main story, because that was my issue, is that I switched my classes.
Congratulations.
Finally, right? Yeah, I switched my classes so I couldn't progress with the main story, so I was stuck in this grinding loop. But I finally made it, and I'm continuing on with the main story now, so I'm very excited to see where it takes me. I picked up Pokemon Go again for no real reason. Yeah, it's always kind of on my phone. And I it was just like some community weekend, so I decided to pop it open, and I'm like now checking it every day all over again. They've done a whole bunch of stuff since Corona to make it more accessible. Like, there are now like free gift boxes and stuff that you can claim. There is way more Pokestops and everything in my area than there was previously. Like, it's not even remotely close to how many there are now. I used to have to actually like go to like a local area, like local community area. Now there's like a bunch of stuff just in my neighborhood and at the park and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they've done a lot, and like there's another app that I started using called PokeGenie, which has completely changed the game for me, because what
Really?
Pokegenie is, and if you're playing Pokemon Go and you're not like, like for me, one of my biggest issues was the raid system, right? I just never had enough people to be able to go. With
Yeah.
Pokegenie, you can actually hop on Pokegenie, and it ends up being like an overlay onto your all over your Pokemon Go, and you scan your Pokemon into it, and it'll actually tell you what your damage contribution would be, and you can actually raid with people all over the world through Pokegenie. So like,
Whoa.
yeah, because there's remote raid passes now because of Corona. They introduced that as a feature. So obviously, it is limited to how many remote raid passes that you have, and I'm not really too sure how you collect them outside of just completing missions and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but like, yeah, like you can be like, you can hop on and it shows, okay, there was a Mewtwo raid. So I hopped in there, I queued up. When it was my turn, I got in. I sent a request to the person who was hosting the raid. They added me as a friend on Pokemon Go, and then they sent me a request to join the raid, and I got a Mewtwo. And it's just like, it's completely
That's
like
cool.
opened up the game. Yeah, in a really fundamental way, because like now it doesn't have to be that you're wandering around looking for 5 or 6 other people who can help carry you through a raid if you don't have the right Pokemon for it.
Hmm.
Um, so that's dope. I've been spending a bunch of time with, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, whether it's Wildermyth or Wildermyth. We're reviewing it, so I'll have a full review up on the channel probably by the end of this week. But it's really, really dope. Like for anybody who's curious, like I hadn't heard about this game until I came across it on Metacritic, and it was getting like ridiculous reviews. So I decided to check it out. And essentially, what it is it's almost like a like there are I think 3 to 5 campaigns in it, and you'll start with the first one, and like the characters are all completely randomized. You can change their personalities, you can change the way they look, you can change their sexual orientation, you can change their sexual preferences, like you can change everything about it. And basically you hop in and it tells you a story, almost like very much in like, imagine like the game was a dungeon master, almost, where like
Right.
the like things will change and it'll throw random opportunities at you on the fly, and like you'll like the battles happen in like a very Fire Emblem-esque grid, where you'll
Right.
move around, and like you can like enchant items and get them to attack. You can like just pick a fighter, and you'll have like the map that you're traveling around, and as you're kind of going through and scouting and clearing things. Like I'm now on almost at the end of the second campaign, and like characters from my first campaign can be brought over to your second campaign, and it's like they're kind of like the legends from past years and all this stuff. Like the story kind of builds into itself, in a
Mhm.
really, really interesting way. I'll have a full review for that up soon, so get ready for that on our YouTube channel. But it's really, really interesting. And Darren, I really recommend you check that you play that one once you have some time, because I think you'd love it.
That sounds like such a cool
It's
idea.
it's
Yeah, I'm really, really interested in any kind of game that tries to emulate like a dungeon master experience. That's impressive.
Yeah, and even like the maps that you fight on, the characters look like kind of like cardboard cutouts, and it looks like
Hmm.
it's like almost like you're playing like on a diorama, like very much
Right.
like you might see in like a Dungeons and Dragons map. It's really, really interestingly done. There's a ton of choice in how you handle situations and what you do. I have one of my guys who made friends with crows, and now their crows will randomly help out sometimes on missions, and he's partly turning into a crow. There's a whole thing. Like it's really, really interestingly done. And then I stuck a couple hours into Chris Tales. That's been really great. If you're anybody's looking for a new like JRPG esque thing that deals with time travel, it's on Game Pass. I'm not deep enough in it now to say it's to have full feelings about it, but one of the most visually stunning games I've ever played. It is beautiful. It has a really interesting battle system so far. And then the last one, Death's Door. I've just beat the first major boss. That one's like you're basically like a little crow running around the world, messing stuff up. Really mechanically awesome, really well done. Both Chris Tales and Death's Door are getting like a lot of hype for potential Game of the Year contenders for some people. So I'm kind of journeying in, and there's like so much more that we're playing that we can't talk about yet. But we'll have a bunch of reviews and a bunch of stuff coming to the YouTube channel over the next few weeks. It's busy,
Yeah,
busy,
you
busy
sound
bees.
very busy. How are you finding the time to play all these games?
Forget sleep, forget other stuff. It's just fun, Darren. It's just fun.
Who needs sleep?
Um,
Games are life.
who needs sleep when you can have fun? Yeah. It's so I've been playing a whole bunch of stuff there. Having my new computer and having Game Pass on it is so dope. It just makes things so easy. And yeah, it's been good, Darren. It's been busy, but it's been good. But Darren, I think this is probably the earliest we've ever jumped into the main topic at 25 minutes in, but we're going to
Yeah.
keep this hot air balloon a floating. I always say train rolling. I'm trying out something new.
We broke the lever. It's infinite fuel. The fire's blazing, and we're getting dangerously close to the upper atmosphere. Please, God, save us. Put us a trampoline under us or something, because we keep moving higher.
Okay. Exactly. We're going up, and we're going to keep going up, because what we're talking about...
Sorry. It's like no reaction to that. Okay. Just like, yes. No. Anyways, ignore Darren.
I believe you. You're right. What we're going to be doing today is talking about some of our games of the year so far. Just a bunch of stuff that we've been playing this year. And, you know, what has us excited about the remainder of the year to come. We're now in July. We're past that halfway point. But Darren, I actually want to start with a little bit of a game with you. Oh. And before we talk about some of our favorite stuff, I'm on Metacritic.com, which everybody knows is the most identifiable way to tell you how good a game is. There's no other way to tell other than their Metacritic score. But I want to try a game with you. I want to see in 10 guesses how many of the top 10 scoring games this year you can get.
Oh God. Okay.
So I'll give you 10 guesses, and I want to see how many that you can get. And all of these, to give you an idea, have released this calendar year. Okay,
so they're all 2021
and I want to see
games.
how many. They're all 2021 games that have released between I'll give you a range between February and July.
Oh God. All right, this is, I feel like I'm
okay. Do you want to start at number 1, or do you want to start at number 10? I want to see if we can work our way through the list.
I want to start at number 1. I want to start at number 1.
Okay.
And then work down. I think that'll be easier. God, what the hell games came out? I am like freaking out trying to think about what stuff. Number 1.
I'll give you a hint that will not help, because I would have never gotten this game for number 1, let alone would have known that it existed.
Really?
But I want you to just take a stab at it. Take a stab.
It's a game that you wouldn't have gotten. Well, okay, because my original guess was going to be Resident Evil Village, but I know that didn't score high enough, and you do know that exists. Maybe
I'll give you the range too. The top performing game is at a 98. Okay, on Metacritic.
Jesus Christ.
The number 10 game is at 89. So all of these games will fall in a review range between 98 and 89. Okay.
Okay. So then
whether that helps you or not.
It's an indie game. I'm gonna guess the re-release of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Okay. Microsoft Flight Simulator is at number 3.
Okay.
So I'll give you that one.
All right.
So you got one on the board. Microsoft Flight Simulator is at number 3 with a score of 92.
Oh, you knew that existed too. If you don't know if it existed, that just like threw me off.
Okay, how about this? Because I genuinely don't know if you know what this game is. Give me a genre.
Okay. Genre, I'm going to go wild. I'm going to say racing game.
No. It is a visual novel.
Oh my God, I was actually going to say visual novel. And then I'm like, no, Matt would play it.
I see. That's what now I'm curious as to why I haven't played it. This game is called The House in Fata Morgana: Dreams of the Revenants Edition. It's apparently a re-release, but apparently this game is one of the most incredible games that people have ever played. I've actually heard about this a little bit on Twitter recently, because people are like, If you like visual novels, play it. But apparently, it's like a gothic suspense tale set in like a cursed mansion. That's like apparently like a wild ride.
I've never heard of this game in my life. I don't know what
Exactly.
that is.
Okay, so number 1, The House in Fata Morgana. Number 3 is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Darren, what do you think number 2 is? And I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
It's a game that you played this year.
It's a game that I played this year. What?
Yep. Though I will say the score, the score reflective of this game is for not the same platform on which you played it.
I see. Disco Elysium.
Yes. Disco
Yeah,
Elysium, the final cut, is at number 2.
Yeah.
Then Microsoft Flight Simulator at number 3. Number 4, Darren, with a score of 90.
Skyward Sword HD.
No. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 collection on PS5.
Okay. Never would have guessed that. That's crazy.
Right? Number 5, with also a score of 90. And I'll give you another hint. It's a game that has a review on our channel.
Oh, shit. Lost Words.
Chicory. A colorful tale.
Chicory. Okay. Chicory's that
Cute
good.
little
Damn.
dog drawing game. It's that good, man. I'm telling you, you would love it.
Yeah, I saw the review. I'm like, it does look up my alley. I didn't realize that it was that well reviewed.
Yeah, seriously well reviewed. Number 6, Darren. What do you think number 6 is?
I'm doing so well
also,
right
score
now.
90.
Yeah, I'm doing
you
so well.
You actually are not doing horribly. You got 2 out of 5.
2 out of that's
and
a
one
fail.
I'll count to 2 out of 4 because the first one I don't think most people know exists. What do you think is number 6?
Also score of 90. Returnal?
Here. No, but this game did release in the same
month.
If not the same month, the month before or the month after. Like it's they're right beside each other.
I don't know what the hell came out in.
You have played them.
I've played them. Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yes.
There we go.
Number 6 is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Number 7.
I'll go. I don't even know if it got this well reviewed. I'm just going to take a stab. Wait, what's the score? What's the score for number 7? Can I ask that?
89. The rest of these games are all 89s. Okay.
Resident Evil Village?
And I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
No. Damn. It's not Resident Evil Village.
Is Resident Evil Village even on this list?
No. I'll give you that much. It's not in the top 10.
Damn it.
Number 7 is It Takes Two. Another game that I literally just finished it over the weekend. Phenomenal and incredibly creative gameplay. One of the worst stories I've ever experienced in a video game.
I'm really shocked that it got review scores that high for such a mediocre story.
Well, it's because, dude, the gameplay is immaculate. It is so good. The story is brutal.
Okay.
But okay, 8, 9, and 10. I'll give you this. Okay. in no order.
Okay.
2 of them are re-releases that added content, and one of them is an indie game.
Oh my god.
All with the score of 89.
What's happening to our games industry? Shin Megami Tensei 3?
Nope.
I'll guess one more. And Skyward Sword HD is not on this list either.
Nope.
Okay. One more HD re-release with more or released with more content.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I didn't say necessarily HD re-release. I just said it is
just
another version of the
content.
game with more content.
I don't know. I give up. I'm sorry. Okay. I have no idea.
Number 8, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, adding on the Yuffie content.
Okay, yeah, it makes
Number
sense.
9, I'll give you a hint, came out in February.
It's
And I think you've played the original. I'm going to take a stab and say that you have. Not
really
certain. Not certain.
interesting. Why? No, my mind keeps going to Destroy All Humans, and that's a terrible. Like, there's no way that got scored high enough to be on this list. Absolutely not. I don't know. Yeah, my guess is
Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
That's my angry growl. I did play that,
and
yeah, I played the original.
You did play the original, right? I'm not just making that up.
I did.
Okay.
No, I did.
And
I played it
number
multiple
10,
times.
And number 10 is an indie game, one that I have already talked about on this show.
Oh my God. Death's Door.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're just saying it's up for Game of the Year awards. Okay, I got it. Death's Door. There we go.
Yeah,
I'm not a complete failure.
And then, I'll run you through the next 10 just for fun. 11 is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 again, but this time on Xbox. Number 12 is It Takes Two again, but on PS4. Number 13 is Wildermyth, which I just talked about as well.
Nice.
Number 14 is Disco Elysium on PS5. Number 15, Ratchet and Clank. 16, Fez, because it released on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
17 is It Takes Two once again, this time the PS5 edition. 18 is F1 2021. Number 19 is once again It Takes Two, this time on PC. And number 20 is the Streets of Rage 4, apparently the Mr. X Nightmare DLC. To just
Metacritic has a bizarre way of categorizing games.
For real. I just quickly want to check. Returnal, which we spoke about, is at 44. I'm trying to see Resident Evil 8. Yeah, so Resident Evil Village, the PS5 edition with a score of 84 is 58th on this list. With Dark Deity at number 60 right behind it. So, Darren, evidently, this game has been on fire in terms of quality titles already, and we're only halfway through the year. So I wanted to talk to you, and we wanted to talk a little bit about some of our favorite games that we've played this year thus far. And this doesn't have to have the asterisk of it came out this year, but just games that we've played this year that have stood out to us from one particular way or another. So let's talk about a couple each, Darren. I'll go to you first.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's very kind of you to put on that asterisk of it doesn't have to release this year. I feel like, you know, search engine optimization wise, it's better to talk about only 2021, but I have a problem. I've played a lot of games this year so far, and only 2 of them have actually come out in 2021. One of them being Disco Elysium, and the other one being Little Nightmares 2. An odd pairing. Little Nightmares 2 is really good, but Disco Elysium, my God. I have to I keep a list sometimes of my best favorite games of all times, and I feel like it's time for me to go over that list again, because Disco Elysium is so good that I guarantee you it's going to end up on my favorite games of all time list. That game is a goddamn masterpiece that needs to be played, and more games need to come out like it. It's unfair because it technically came out in 2020, but at least this time it has the re-release in 2021, which started off questionable with a lot of glitches. Unfortunate considering it's it's not that intensive of a game, but it didn't matter because the game's writing is just so good, it just wins you over. So by far Disco Elysium, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'll get to you in a second. This year's had a lot of games come out that I have not played that are on my list. I truly do think that this is going to be a really incredible year for games. And so far with stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Returnal and the Nier Replicant remake, and we got the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Persona 5 Strikers. There are a lot of good games already, and I need to play them. I need to get a PS5 so I could play them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Disco Elysium. So I played it last year when it came out because, as you know, I'm very much a victim of the hype, and I'm not one for PC gaming. Well, I'm trying to be more now. But when that came out last year, like I was mad I couldn't make it my game of the year last year because I played it literally after we did that episode and I wasn't finished it. When we talked about
Mhm.
game of the year last year, but yeah, I completely agree. That game is just so incredibly put together, and like the thing that I need to say is that like that is not a matte game. Like that is
No.
not something that I would usually spend a lot of time on, but the story and everything about it gripped me in such a way that I couldn't stop playing it. So yeah, if you're on the fence about Disco Elysium at all, being back in Canada now, it's a nice reminder that the library is a thing, especially for console games.
Yes.
Um, check it out. Check it out. It's so well put together, and I hope because I remember you, Darren, saying that there was a lot of issues with the port. I hope they've since been solved because the game itself is just incredible. And if you haven't played it yet and you want to play it on PC, I mean, the upgrade to the Final Cut was totally free, which is
Hmm.
dope because they added like a bunch of voice acting and they ironed out a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I have to agree, Darren. Disco Elysium is such a special game in
Yeah,
such an
for sure.
interesting way.
And to put your mind at ease, I think by now, and as I was playing it, they were releasing a lot of patches, and almost everything that I wanted to get fixed has been fixed. The only thing that I don't think has been fixed yet is the ridiculously small text size, which I think is a huge issue. But
Yeah.
hopefully they get around to that since they're supposed to be making a Switch version, and that'll be a disaster if they don't fix the text size.
Oh my god. You're gonna need
So
like a
yeah.
magnifying glass on the Switch to be able to see that stuff properly. Yeah, because even on the PC version, like the text was quite small. The benefit being is that you're playing on the laptop, you're right in front of it, so
Hmm.
sitting in front of your TV like that would perhaps not be so comfortable.
So
Um,
what's a game
yeah,
for
dude.
you?
You know, for me, I was looking back because in honor of you and also by another user on Twitter called Cam Final Mix, Mr. Cameron Hawkins, like I decided to keep a list running of games that I've finished this year. As of yet, I have finished 22 games so far this year.
Nice.
I've finished 22 games, so I've played a lot. And I'm curious to see where I'll be at by year's end. But going back to this list, like for me, Yakuza Like a Dragon is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've talked about that game to death. But like, man, it's so special. Like the switch to the JRPG, turn-based battling style, the story there that it tells, just how incredible the main character is, and the way that it kind of embraces a lot of people that are traditionally just shit on and looked down upon by general culture. It's such a well done game, and obviously there's room for improvements. It was the first time that RGG Studios was doing a turn-based game like this, but the fact that it gets so much right while always feeling like a Yakuza game is just incredible. Like that game had me laughing, that game had me crying, that game had me mad, that game had me just over the top enjoy. Like, and it's on Xbox Game Pass now, which you bastards, if you still haven't played it and you have Game Pass, whether you're on PC or anywhere else, like please go play it because that series and that studio has such a special place in my heart. And every time I play a new game by them, regardless if it's one that is new or one that is new for me, just fantastic every time. I love, love, love a lot of what RGG Studios is doing, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. I don't know, man. Like I'm going to have a hard time. I have a hard time believing that anything is going to dethrone that as my game of the year this year. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of incredible games.
So I'm
What's
guessing
what's
you were
another one that
very
stood out for you?
happy. I was gonna say, I guess you're very happy then when they announced that the Yakuza series for the immediate future will be sticking to the turn-based style.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. And like the thing is too is that like I love the other side of it too. Like with Judgment now, the second one coming out in September, and Judgment's another game that I finished this year. Uh, I'm super stoked that they're going to have both because I think both have their place in this industry. Now, I mean, there's some issues with the actor's likeness that this might actually be the final Judgment, with some very, very weird things because
Ugh.
he is the main actor is like a past Japanese idol. So his likeness and everything is like
Oh God.
controlled to the letter. And they essentially, Sega wants to put the game out on Steam.
Hmm.
His agency is saying no, thank you. Presumably, I'd assume they're worried about the mods and what they can do to his likeness.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yeah.
so now it seems to be that like Lost Judgment's still coming out. This might be the final Judgment game. So whatever they do next, I hope they continue this dual stream of turn-based, with Core Yakuza, and whether it's Judgment or another franchise, and I hope it will be Judgment because that cast is fantastic, continues on to be like the street brawling goodness, because both of those deserve a spot in this industry, and both of them are so well done. But what's another one for you, Darren?
Yeah. So for me, I'm trying to, because this is the big problem is right. Is like, I know right now we're technically in current generation. It's no longer next
Mm-hmm.
generation. But I think for me and for a lot of people, it's not truly going to be current generation until it's easier to get our hands on these consoles. Um,
Yeah.
so many games, like I said, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls, Miles Morales. Now
It's
some of them,
wild how many Darren games have come out this year that you just haven't had the chance to play.
yeah,
Be it between like even stuff like Chicory and like like just because of technical limitations or time.
yeah,
Like so many Darren games this year. So
I'm
many
really,
Darren games.
I'm really upset, and also Resident Evil Village on top of that list, and I'm upset because, like, look, I know a lot of these games are also available on PS4, but for me, I'm kind of like, I want to play the ultimate version. I don't want to
Right.
play the PS4 version. I'm like, these games were made with PS5 in mind. I want to, get a PS5 and experience it that way. So I've held off. Um, and I'm trying to avoid going into like a video game donkey situation where every time he does game of the year, he'll just do this. Yeah, he'll just talk about whatever game he played. And I'm tempted to pull out a Super Mario Galaxy rather than Super Mario Brothers 2 because I played Galaxy, and Galaxy is one of
Right.
my favorite games of all time. Same with Psychonauts. So I will instead, I guess, cop out again and say Final Fantasy 14 because Endwalker's coming out. So it will be relevant for the year of 2021. But yeah, I just couldn't picture my year without Final Fantasy 14. It helped through the pandemic so much. It helped give me a place to, hang out with people live. It gave me a place to socialize and build community. And right now in Final Fantasy 14, where I'm getting into savage raiding. I'm getting into some of the harder fights in the game.
Nice.
Yeah, last night we just me and our group, we just beat um Eden's Gate Inundation Savage, E3S for those who know the lingo. It took us 2 play sessions to beat this fight, and
Wow.
probably collectively like 4 hours straight of grinding to get this fight done. It's that hard. Like, these fights are difficult, but it shouldn't be that difficult because we're playing with, like, we're over leveled and over geared. But I think a lot
Mhm.
of us are half of us are, people that have done Savage a bunch of times, but the other half are new to the experience. So there's a huge
Learning
difficulty
curve.
gap between them. Yeah, learning curve.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that I am still talking about this game over 1,000 hours now later, just shows how crazy this game is. And it's so topical now too, because apparently everyone's quitting World of Warcraft to come play Final Fantasy 14. My queue times
Did
have
you
never
see
been
that
longer.
like the Did you see that like the digital copy of the game sold out on the Square Enix store?
Yeah, the digital copy of the
The
game sold
digital
out.
copy of the game. Wild, man.
And the reason I think this game has such a strong community is partly because of Yoshida, the executive producer of the game, and he released an apology for that. When the servers have so many players that they're running out of digital copies, he released an apology saying, "I am so sorry that you can't play the game. It's on us to make sure the game is playable for everybody who wants to play it. We're doing everything that we can to add more servers, and they're going to add more
Mhm.
servers." And he freaking apologized. Like, I don't think, like, that's an over apology. It's like no one expected that all of a sudden in a month everyone would just start playing the game all of a sudden, right? So, but
Right. Yeah.
it's the team cares and the community's great, and the game, as you know, Matt, it's quite addicting.
Yep.
And yeah, Final Fantasy 14 probably going to be my one of my games of the year for the next like 6 fucking years. So I don't.
So do do you think Endwalker stands a real chance of being your game of the year this year? Like I said,
It
a
might.
chance. I'm not going
It
to say
might.
that it
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah. A chance. No, 100%. There's not 100% it will be, but 100% there's a chance that it
Yeah.
could be, maybe just by default, because of how much time and time it's going to take from my life. So it might honestly be once the school semester starts in September, it might end up being the only game I'm playing, because I will not have time for anything else.
There you go. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to catch up and to experience everything, because like it's a lot for you to say that this game lives up to the hype, because we all know you're not one for hype.
I am
So
not.
I'm very curious to get through Heaven's Word, and what's the other one
Yeah,
between Shadowbringers?
Stormblood.
Stormblood.
And I think about halfway through Heaven's Word, you will already start to see why it lives up to the hype, because Heaven's Word deserves just as much praise as Shadowbringers does. Stormblood is it's a bit weaker, I'll be honest, but Heaven's Word and Shadowbringers are just phenomenal.
God, I can't wait. Awesome. As for myself, we've like I've played so many cool games this year. Like between like Lost Words, which was just an emotional wreck of a game, along with Before Your Eyes in that same category, but you know, Before Your Eyes doing something so interesting with its gameplay mechanics of like, you know, your eyes being part of the experience.
Oh my god,
Trails
yeah,
of
I
Cold
forgot
Steel
about that one.
3 just
Mm-hmm.
being such an incredible sequel. And I love that series. You know, Returnal being way too much fun. Um, and Chicory is just so good as well. I think for me, another one that like even amongst all of these, you know, incredible games, um, Ratchet and Clank is
Yes.
one of the most fun experiences I've had in video games in a while. Like that game, you know, it does a lot of things very well, and is it really is like a fantastic technical showcase for the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's one of the most fun experiences I've had in a really long time. The humor is great, the way that they understand their characters and their mythology, and just it's so good, Darren. Like I had such a blast making my way through it, and it got to the point where like I got to the end of the game and I was like, you know what? Maybe I will do this platinum. And then as I started popping more trophies, I realized that there was one that I missed that I have to restart the game for, and I was like, never mind, I'm not doing it. Just because like as you know, I'm not one for replaying games, but like it gave me serious thought. Like I almost did. I almost hopped back into it right away. That game is just so incredibly put together, and then just the stories that came out of it as well. Ryan and I had this conversation about on the PlayStation Drive the other day, because the question was for Mr. Midas actually being, you know, what is your favorite Sony first party developer? And
Ooh.
if you had asked me just like, you know, almost a year ago, I would have said Naughty Dog. But now with Insomniac being there and the stories of how little to no crunch there was on both
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, and the fact that they've put out Spider-Man and Miles and Ratchet back to back to back, like they they are doing such an incredible job. And Ratchet and Clank is just one of the best experiences I've had this year. Like I'm really going to have a hard time deciding between, you know, Yakuza and Ratchet, like and you know, who knows what else, because again with Chris Tales out now and Death's Door, there's so many incredible games this year, Darren. But before we wrap up this call, and obviously Persona 5 Strikers was an amazing time, I had a blast with it, which really surprised me. But
Oh
before we
yeah.
kind of close out this conversation, what are some of the games that you're looking forward to in the tail end of this year, in the next kind of, you know, 5 months and change to come?
So, for me, I think I am. What I'll say is I'm most excited for what Nintendo's offering this year.
Okay.
And I actually can't believe that I'm saying this because I think before the E3 Nintendo Direct, I was pretty down on Nintendo and what they've been outputting for the Switch because I've been pretty disappointed. Like I have a Switch. I did get into it a little bit late, but I did play like the classics like Breath of the Wild, and I played Odyssey, and I did play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I liked, but not as much as the first one. But like
Mm-hmm.
other than those, it's been pretty much 2 years of ports of Wii U games that I've already played because I was one of the few suckers that bought a Wii U, and I played all these games already. But Nintendo really impressed me at E3, and they're releasing, like, to use your words, a lot of Darren games. I am so excited for Metroid Dread. I am so
Mm-hmm.
excited for Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm so excited for WarioWare Get It Together. I'm excited for Advanced Wars Remake. I'm
Yep.
I'm excited for. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. There's
Pokemon, dude. Pokemon Shining Diamond, whatever Pearl.
yeah. Honestly, I might pick those up because I've never really truly dug into the Pokemon series, and I'm not
We're gonna
making
play them together.
promises.
I
mean,
know, but
it might be kind
we're
of
gonna
cool
we're gonna
if you
battle,
got
Darren.
if you got one and I got the other or something like
I'm
that.
saying.
But people, I think, have usually good things to say about the fourth gen. And I think my ultimate game
Yeah.
is if they remake Pokemon Black and White on Switch. I will get that 100%. If I'm going to make a promise right now. If Nintendo releases Black and White on Switch, I will pick that up because I've heard that, like, story-wise, those are like the top of the top for Pokemon games.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like Nintendo's releasing a lot of strong stuff. And they're finally making me feel like it was worth it to buy a Switch and finally getting some new stuff, not just a bunch of ports, even though I mentioned
Right.
the Advance Wars remake. But I think it's because it's like from the ground up. I kind of hold that in
Well,
different.
it's been a long time since we've seen Advance Wars. It's not something that we just see recently. It's not something off the Wii U that they're just bringing over again, right? Like
Exactly. So thank you, Nintendo, for finally stepping up your game.
You know, dude, I have a confession to make. I pre-ordered the OLED model. I don't know if I'm going to keep the pre-order, but I pre-ordered it just for the sake of doing so, and we'll see if I actually keep it or not. I might sell some stuff to kind of even out the pricing, but I gotta say that white Switch has me curious. Yeah, dude, Nintendo, like, I think had one of the strongest showings that we'd seen at E3, and I'm with you. Metroid has me hyped. I'm still a little lukewarm on Pokemon, just only because of the art style. I'm not entirely sold on it. I want to see a little bit more of that game. Again, like, the fourth generation is kind of where I started to fall off back in the DS days. So I'm curious to kind of have an opportunity to go back to it because I don't remember it well at all. And I know I played it, I just don't remember them that well. Right. But as for myself, I mean, Neo, The World Ends With You just came out, which is like getting great reviews, and people seem to say that like it does some really interesting stuff with its story. And the demo had me thinking, like, I quite enjoyed it. The demo is up for anybody who wants to try. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles came out Darren, or is coming out.
I really want to pick that up.
Stellar review. That got stellar reviews as well, which I know you're a big, Ace Attorney fan.
Sure am.
For me, there is 12 Minutes in August, which I can't wait for. That game has me curious, and I think is also like a real dark horse for Game of the Year contender. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm excited to go back to that game. I'm excited to play the added content. Kana, Bridge of Spirits is another one. Like, August is already stacked. I was just thinking like, oh, August is going to be chill. That's a lie. We get like 12 Minutes, Ghost, and Kana all within a few days of each other. No More Heroes 3, Darren.
Yes, I forgot about No More Heroes 3.
In just a month.
Yeah.
We're going to have Kana, Psychonauts 2, and No More Heroes 3 pretty much within 3 days of each other. So get ready for that. I'm so stoked for Deathloop coming in September, and Tales of Arise. Lost Judgment is one of my most anticipated games this year. I can't wait for that. October is going to bring us another one, Darren, I'm surprised you didn't mention, Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, the remake. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Battlefield 2042, which we'll get into in just a little bit. I love Battlefield, and what we've seen at EA Live has me much more excited than I
Mhm.
was. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm very curious to see how it's going to turn out. Really hope it's going to be good. November, like you said, we have Shin Megami Tensei, we have Pokemon, we have Endwalker, and for a lot of people, Forza Horizon 5, I'm sure people are very, very excited about. And then December, we have Advance Wars, the reboot, and Dying Light. And I mean, there's so much more that we don't even know that's been slated for this year that doesn't
But we
have an
also have
actual date yet. But
we also have yeah, we have Halo Infinite coming at some point this year, right? So
Halo Infinite is supposed to be coming this year. I still
Horizon
think
Forbidden West,
Horizon is on the
fingers crossed.
horizon.
Yeah. I've
I
got
really hope
hey,
that that's I.
Ghostwire Tokyo has been delayed. I only need one more
Mhm.
delay to make my prediction come true.
Yeah, you're right. Um, so like I don't know. I still think it's coming this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. Digimon Survive is one that I'm incredibly excited about. Lord knows when we're actually going to see that game. What else is on this list here? I'm just trying to think because like there's so much more that we don't like. Halo Infinite is a massive one. I can't believe I didn't think about that. But like we don't like. Hopefully it'll be out this year.
It's funny because people were saying that 2021 was going to be the year that we truly felt the effects of COVID. And while I do think that's true to an extent, at E3 we got a lot of 2022 and 2023 dates rather than
Mm-hmm.
2021 dates. But at the same time, I am floored by how many games are coming out this year.
We're drowning in them, man. Just drowning in games. The one that's really going to be a game of the year for a lot of people, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. Um, Oxen Oxenfree 2, I can't wait for. Like, there's just so much coming. Life is Strange, we didn't even talk about either because I don't think either one of us has a massive affinity for that franchise, but I know a lot of people do.
Mhm, mhm.
This year has went from being like, yeah, like you said, Corona, we're probably not going to have that many games, to having so many Game of the Year contenders in the first 6 months and so many more that are coming. Game of the Year is going to be one packed episode this year, my friend, and
For
there's so
sure.
much good coming, which I can't wait for. I can't wait.
Same.
And now I have to play Psychonauts because you and Ryan over on the PlayStation Drive, you both keep talking about it. So like now I have to try it
I need to
on
meet
top
this
of getting through
Ryan.
Final Fantasy.
But yeah, between Psychonauts and Final Fantasy, he sounds like a pretty good dude.
You guys would get along very well. I will tell you that much. But let's move over onto some news, Darren, because we have some
Good.
incredible stories and some really horrible stories.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with the one that made me incredibly upset and angry this week. And I know a lot of people sympathize and empathize with that position because it's one that a lot of people felt. Activision Blizzard sued over, quote, frat boy culture, quote, harassment. This is coming from Bloomberg, written by Maeve Alsup. Maeve writes, video game giant Activision Blizzard Inc., maker of games including World of Warcraft and Diablo, fosters a frat boy culture in which female employees are subjected to constant sexual harassment, unequal pay, and retaliation, according to a lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. A 2-year investigation by the state agency found that the company discriminated against female employees in terms and conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination. I'm going to jump on a little bit ahead here. Around 20%. So female employees make up around 20% of the Activision workforce and are subjected to a pervasive frat boy workplace culture, including quote unquote cube crawls in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Delegation. There was also jokes about rape, engaging in sexual banter. One of them, in the most disgusting way, the suit also points to a female Activision employee who took her own life while on a company trip with her male supervisor. The employee had been subjected to intense sexual harassment prior to her death, including having nude photos passed around at a company holiday party, the complaint says. Not directly from this article, but one from the lawsuit itself. That male employee also brought a bunch of sex toys with them on this trip. And yeah. Darren, I'm going to go off on here for just a second before I let you into this conversation. So please excuse me. I can't fucking believe how hard it is. No, it's not that I can't believe it. I can't believe it, and it's fucking depressing to say that how much women in this industry have to go to. And like, Activision Blizzard is currently the one in the spotlight, so this isn't But this isn't a unique problem to video games. This isn't a unique problem to Activision Blizzard. This is one that a lot of women struggle with every fucking day in any sort of, any sorts of workplaces. It's so fucking heartbreaking to hear about these things that these poor people, these women are going through. And it's fucking horrendous. It's abhorrent. I don't understand why they just can't let women and can't let, POC in the industry just fucking be here without being subjected to an endless amount of bullshit. It's fucking garbage. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. It's and you have gamers constantly, like surprise Pikachu faced when they hear that, like, what, this stuff is still happening in the industry. Like, it, when you have a bunch of people in positions of power, a bunch of males in positions of power with like unchecked privilege and power, they're going to do everything they can to get away with it because they can, because the HR departments are all built to protect the company's best interests, and they always just get slaps in the wrist. And if that, and also the kind of person that is attracted to a CEO position is usually someone with more sociopathic tendencies, because you have to be in charge of a lot of people and make a lot of decisions, people looking for power. And another thing that it really disgusts me about this situation was Activision's response to this, where they were like, oh, it's allegations and situations like this that are pushing businesses out of the state of California. Like, forget all the allegations, forget what they're actually doing, forget, the people that are being hurt, forget the woman who killed herself. They're upset that the state of California is trying to keep them accountable, and they're threatening, like, well, if you keep threatening us, maybe we'll just take our business elsewhere. It's disgusting.
It's fucking, it just, I literally, when this article went live, we were talking about it, and it's just like, I'm running out of the words, but I just want to keep having this conversation regardless, because we need to get to a point where this isn't the fucking norm. And like, I know a lot of people are disappointed, and a lot of people are taking the stance of, oh, but my game, I understand, I do, but it comes to the point where, like, if we don't hit them in the wallet, nothing is ever going to fucking change. And I mean, especially like Activision CEO Bobby Kotick has been like linked to Jeffrey Epstein. He's based like on a year where they destroyed a number of jobs. He still got a massive fucking bonus. It's just like this complete fucking unwilling and disregard for human life, and and the voices of these women that have to deal with this shit. It's fucking insane. And like they there was an update on the story actually earlier today that over 1,000 Blizzard employees have signed a letter backing up the investigation, basically flying in the face of what Activision and Blizzard had been putting forth, that everything that it's. And what fucking just completely left me speechless too was that, like, one of their arguments against it was like, oh, some of this stuff is like a decade old. Yeah, that's right. Everybody fucking forgets that time is the fucking thing that makes this kind of shit okay. It's a decade old. No big fucking deal now.
Oh,
just
God.
Get fucked, man. Like, to all the developers and to all the people who are going through it now, because I'm sure that they are, and I'm sure a lot of them are worried about repercussions as these women have. Keep fighting it, and we're with you. And I just be fucking aware of what is going on in this industry that I know we all love and care about so much. Be aware of what's happening. Let people fucking live. Let women in the space without making an argument for it against. And people are always like, oh yeah, women are just saying that, they're just the same as guys in this space. No, they're fucking not. Stand up and say something and support the people, the women, the fucking people of color that need it, because good Lord knows it's going to take white guys like us yelling loud enough for anything to fucking change, sadly, because that's the fucking society and the state that we live in. But if you're unfamiliar with this case, please look it up, because there's so much happening, and I'm sure we're gonna have much more to talk about as this kind of goes on, just to everyone struggling, please, if you need help, find it. And we there's a lot of resources available. Just
Mhm.
take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and let's fucking work to make this place a better one for the people that follow. Because good lord, this shouldn't be a fucking problem anymore.
No, thanks, Matt. And yeah,
Um,
we'll definitely be talking about this again because I'm sure this is not the last we're going to hear about this topic. There'll be a bunch more stuff coming out over the coming weeks.
Yep, I'm sure we will. But let's keep it going, buddy. We're gonna hop over now to talk about PS5 owners. Coming from Polygon, written by Toussaint Egan. Toussaint writes, PS5 owners get 6 months of Apple TV Plus for free. If you have a PlayStation 5 for the next year, Darren, every PS5 owner will be able to get a 6-month trial of Apple TV Plus for free. It's stupidly easy. It's live in a lot of countries. I can already tell you that it is live in Canada because I signed up for it.
Nice.
Just have to log in with your Apple account and link it over, and you get 6 months of Apple TV Plus for free. The second season of Ted Lasso just started, which is reason enough to fucking do this because Ted Lasso is a godsend in television. It's so good. I also want to check out Mythic Quest, which I've heard a lot of good things about, along with I've heard good things about what's the Jennifer Aniston one? The Morning Show?
Yes, the morning show.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well. So if you have a PS5, and even if you pick one up in the next year, you'll get 6 months of Apple TV Plus free. Darren, does this deal do anything for you? Are you going to take advantage when you get your PS5?
100%. Yeah, like I was not really interested in Apple TV Plus, at least not enough to take a dip to try it out. But this is crazy. I did not expect this to happen. If they're going to give me 6 months free just for getting a PS5, then just for getting a PS5. But if they're going to get me 6 months free at all, I'll try it out because those sound like good shows. I'm definitely excited about this deal. Free stuff, man.
Yeah, free stuff. If you haven't, and even if whatever, watch Ted Lasso. That show is so good. Moving on to our next story coming from IGN, written by Matt T.M. Kim. Pokemon live action series in development at Netflix. Netflix is working on a live action Pokemon series headed up by Lucifer's Joe Henderson. According to Variety, Henderson is slated to write and executive produce the live action adaptation. He is currently the co-showrunner of Netflix's popular Lucifer series based on the DC comic. Report says that the series is aiming to replicate Detective Pikachu, a 2019 live action Pokemon movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith. It was pretty good, actually. However, Netflix's series is its own independent production. So, Darren, what I want to know is A, are you excited about this Netflix Pokemon series? And B, what do you want from it?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think Netflix has a very, very fluctuating level of quality with their original shows now. I think when they first started making original shows, I think the quality was much more consistent, but now it seems like it's kind of hit and miss. But I actually really like Detective Pikachu. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, and there were definitely a lot of flaws, but for what it was, like I quite enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job representing the world of Pokemon. So if they were going to do a live action show, I'd want something similar to that. But I'd also honestly be happy with just kind of like a live version of the anime style. I think Pokemon lends itself much better to like kind of like like an anthology where like every episode is about something different rather than an overarching story. I think if they try to do too much of an overarching story that goes through like multiple seasons, they might be shooting themselves in the foot because it might get a little too much focus on the story, not enough focus on the Pokemon, where I think people tuning into a live action Pokemon, they're coming for the Pokemon. Like that's what they want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think?
I'm with you. I'm cautiously excited for this as well. I actually also really enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I hope we don't get that. I like that idea. I like the way that world exists and how different it is, compared to regular Pokemon. What I don't hope we get is the standard 24 episode season with 30 to 40 minute episodes. I hope we get like a really tight 8 to 10 episode season. And not that it has to be
Mhm.
dark and gritty, because I don't really want anything like that. But I think just because of how important the Pokemon are, if the CG isn't on point, with the shorter episode season, series, then they can spend more time and more effort on the CG per episode. Because I really think that they're going to have to nail those. Because again, like you said, the Netflix quality ranges wildly in between, and some CG on some of those shows is just not up to snuff. So I'm hoping that like we get something cool. I hope we get something that really shows off how cool Pokemon can be. And like I said, I don't want Detective Pikachu, but I wouldn't mind a
Mhm.
story told in that style of the universe, rather than just the kind of anthological take. I don't need to see Ash again, doing whatever. I think that's just kind of uncanny valley weirdness. But I think that space is a really cool one for them to do if they're going to have some sort of other detective style thing where each week is a different case that they're trying to solve or whatever it may be. Um, I hope I'm very very curious to learn more. And from what I understand, a lot of people love Lucifer. So I've never watched it myself, but the person that will be writing and kind of heading it up seems to be coming from a good pedigree. So I mean, I guess we'll see. The last story for today, Darren. Everything announced during EA Play Live. I'm going to be pulling from Wesley Yin Pool's article over at Eurogamer. We're going to be going down this list, Darren, and talking a little bit about the different things that they announced. The first one was the releasing from Codemasters are doing Grid Legends coming in 2022, and it's going to have a live action story mode. So this is a racing game for anybody unaware. The Grid series is one that's long-standing and has been going for quite a while. Does this one do anything for you, Darren?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Me neither. Moving on. Lost in Random is the next game that we saw coming from Zoink, which is a Swedish studio, coming out on September 10th. It's a gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure. This one looks a little weird, and this one also seems giving me kind of a Darren-ish vibes. Did this one do much for you, Darren?
Yeah, I was getting some Darrenish vibes there. I do appreciate that EA still wants to fund kind of quirky indie games like this every once in a while. My big problem is EA seems to only fund one at a time. They're like, this is our one indie game this year.
Yeah,
Um,
seriously.
but it looked cool. I really liked the art style. I really like the atmosphere, the kind of old timey aesthetic with like the Tim Burton-y style characters and
Yeah.
randomness as a like central element to the game is quite unique. Right now I'm playing a wild magic sorcerer in the D&D campaign that we play together. So I'm kind of into the idea of playing a video game with some random magic. The only thing that doesn't do it for me is the cards, because I'm not really a big
Yeah.
card system guy. I liked it in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. So if it's more like that kind of like style where like the deck building is not really that important, like you can make pretty OP decks
Mhm.
pretty easily, I think I'll be happier with it.
Yeah, this one looks fine. Again, I genuinely like deck battling stuff. This one for me, I don't know. This is a wait and see for me. The next thing that we got was Knockout City Season 2, where it comes with a map of ever-changing movie-inspired arenas called the Hollywood Drive-In, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. That's coming July 27th. I'm still surprised at how fun this game is, Darren. We really need to get
Yeah.
back to it. Like, I was genuinely enjoying our time with it, and I actually
Mm-hmm.
love this idea for a map, kind of like the static one, like, grid, but the way that it changes is what changes, is how it works. So you can have what seems like a bunch of new maps, when genuinely there's only one that changes a lot. I love this
Yes.
idea, and especially basing it on movies and stuff. Where are your feelings out on this one?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I bought the game, and of course, when I bought the game, I stopped playing it. But I didn't regret
Yeah,
buying the game because I do still want to come back to it. I think whenever we get together with some friends, it's a great game to play together. I have fun playing
yeah,
it. And I wish more games had stages and maps that changed while you're playing them. I just think that's so fun. Like to like be in a situation and then the level moves to keep you on your toes. I am one of the people that when I play Smash Bros, I like stage hazards, okay? I like moving stages because I think it's fun to have a wrench thrown in your plan while you're playing on them.
yeah. I think this is a really cool map. I'm excited to kind of give it a whirl. And I'm genuinely down to go back to this game because I don't like it is surprisingly good. I was
Mm-hmm.
genuinely shocked by how much fun this game was, and you can play it for free for a while. So I mean, why not? The next major thing that we got was the new Apex Legends stuff. We got a new Legend Seer, which is all about tracking enemies. They will be coming as part of their new update launching August 3rd. Darren, you are someone who genuinely loves Apex Legends, and I have a lot of affinity for it as well, but I think you're much more into it than I am. Where are you at on this one? Is this enough reason for you to go back?
I will correct you and say I don't love Apex Legends. I like it. I like Apex Legends.
Okay.
I I have only I only play it when other people ask me to play it, but I do that with most multiplayer games. To be honest, I'm not a big multiplayer guy by itself, but like he's a cool character. I like the way that they described his powers seem really really cool. Um, but like yeah, it's cool. It's a cool new character. Apex Legends is fun. I like what they're doing with it.
I agree. Our next one, which actually has me much more excited for Battlefield 2042 than I was before, we got a deep dive into Battlefield Portal, and essentially what it's going to be is you can like mash up parts of 1942, Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3 into custom maps. Like you can have like defibs only versus snipers and like a bunch of ridiculous modes, and they're bringing back like a bunch of fan favorite maps. I think if this is going to be their quote unquote battle royale, right? Like if this is what they're doing
Mhm.
is kind of taking what's essentially like a greatest hits collection from Battlefield and mashing it all together, and like you can make your own modes. You can't edit the maps themselves, but you can basically change the way that the game functions over and over again, which I think like what a brilliant move, Darren. I
Mhm.
don't know where you're at on this one, but I think this is like this for me just starts to now justify the full price of the game coming out. Like I think it's edging towards okay. Before I was like I'm waiting for a steep sale. This for me, combined with just what Battlefield is, because I'm a huge Battlefield fan, is starting to make a little bit more sense if this is what they're going to kind of add into and build upon. Where are you at on this?
Did they so they confirmed that there's no single player campaign for the game?
They have confirmed, yes.
Okay. Um, I have always enjoyed Battlefield more than Call of Duty, out of personal preference because I think I think Battlefield does better with objective style gameplay than Call of Duty does, and I like
Mm.
objective style gameplay. I was like, I have not really played a Battlefield game consistently since Battlefield 3, and this is the first time that I've been truly excited for a Battlefield game since Battlefield 3. Like, holy crap. This is, I think, like you said, starts to justify the price more. You have all these tools from all these games to make so many custom games. It reminds me of like the glory days of Halo 3. I put so much time into Halo 3 custom maps. After high school, me and a bunch of buddies would log on immediately and just play. We wouldn't play deathmatch. Screw that. We would play bizarre games like Dodge the frickin' Brute Chopper or like sniper obstacle courses or zombies modes. Like this reminds me of the Forge days. And even if you can't edit the levels, you can add like programmable AI triggers into the world. I don't know what extent that goes, but in the preview, it looked like it was pretty extensive. And they had crazy cool examples like 32 World War II soldiers versus 4 2042 soldiers, and like a bunch of robots versus a tank. Like yeah, defibs versus knives. Like it's amazing. I want to play this stuff more than I want to play the normal modes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, especially because like Mr. Midas made a cool video about it because he actually got to see it behind closed doors. So if you're curious
Ooh.
about a little more about this, go check out his video. But there's actually like a full like desktop in like internet based suite for you to go in and modify stuff like that.
That's
Like that's
amazing.
how deep you're able to go into this. So this shot up my list this year just by them having this mode because I think it's a really really cool way to keep the game fresh and interesting. And then Darren, they closed out EA Live closed out with something that I'm sure that you're quite excited about. They announced one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, the Dead Space remake. It is made by the Star Wars Squadrons developer EA Motive and is due out on PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series family. No release window. We didn't see any gameplay. We just saw a quick teaser. I never played Dead Space. I'm not much one for horror. but I've heard a lot of good things about this series, especially 1 and 2. Darren, how do you feel now that Dead Space is confirmed to be coming back?
I am, for the first time, and usually I think I'm the kind of person that wishes they just make a sequel rather than a remake, but I am actually so happy they made a remake instead of a sequel, because when EA, and especially current climate EA, makes a sequel to something, they're gonna do everything they can to monetize the crap out of this thing. Like Dead Space 3 is what happens when you try and get EA to EAify the series. So the fact that it's a remake makes me so much more confident that it's going to be good, because they're going to try and probably keep it pure. Like, we're just making the game, here it is. Play the goddamn game. It's not a live service. You finish it and you're done. Like,
Yeah,
thank you.
and I'm pretty sure that they confirmed that they are working on pulling back cut content that was cut from the original Dead Space to be able to kind of to add to like make the game what it quote unquote not should have been at the time, but
The
what
original intention.
to add in the things that the original devs wanted to do. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
seems like they're actually pulling in cut content as well.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I'm super happy. I'll definitely get it. I'm super happy for this. I'm very excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm cautiously again like I'm curious to see more from it. I've heard so much about this series, even though I've never played it. So similarly to Demon Souls earlier this year, maybe this might be a reason for me to jump in. But Darren, that brings us to the end of our show. Again, Get Stoked episode 100 is next week. Find us on Twitter or on our Facebook or on our TikTok. I'll have all the links below to learn more about the giveaway and how to enter so that you can win free games. Darren, you like free games. I like free games, and I know you do too. So get excited because we're almost ready to party. So get stoked. Darren, thank you again for joining me today on this look back / look forward of games in 2021. Get hyped for next week. We'll see you then. Get ready to party. Peace out.
Later. Oh my God, 99. That is one away from 100.
That is one away from 100.